Are you ready to transform your pool into a stunning oasis? At Mainland Pool Service, they're a family-owned business committed to keeping your pool looking pristine all year round. They believe that pool care should be proactive, not reactive, which is why their skilled team handles everything from routine cleaning to complex issues with precision. They prioritize clear communication and personalized solutions to exceed your expectations. Join the Mainland Pool Service family today and experience the difference their expertise and dedication can bring to your relaxation retreat. Contact them now at mainlandpoolservice.com.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
AZ's making money thanks to the new CBA.
Incredible stuff.
Her
good stuff.
Rookie contract. She is projected to make $500,000 this year. And just in comparison, Paige made $78,000 last year and Caitlin Clark made $76,000.
Anytime we get workers getting paid what they're worth, I'm all for it.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Grizzlies, take your fandom to the next level by becoming an MVP.
How long have you been an MVP? Since day one.
Enjoy the great benefits of being a season ticket member. Pre-game MVP moments, including Autograph Alley, exclusive Grizz gear deals, access to member or MVP-only player events, and much more.
He's been an MVP for 22 years!
Become a Grizzlies MVP today.
Live from the Built Ford Tough studio at FedEx Forum, it's the Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South, on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Now, here's your host, Gary Parrish.
My name is Gary Parrish. I'm speaking to you from the Built Ford Tough studio. FedEx Forum, we're in downtown Memphis. Bennett Doyle right there producing the program. Glad he's with me. Glad you're with me. Hope you're getting through the day best you can. And I hope you didn't expect a 41-year-old king to steal game one in Oklahoma City last night, because it did not happen. Didn't even come close to happening. The Lakers lost. Ric Flair hates Luka Doncic. There's a lot going on in the NBA. We'll talk about it momentarily. First, though, quickly, let me set today's schedule for you. In the next segment, Chris Vernon is going to join me. He's the host. Chris Vernon Show, weekdays noon, Grind City Media. He'll pop in here. We'll talk NBA. Chris Vernon in the next segment. Finish talking to him. I'll take a break, come back. We'll do 5 more things you need to know, at which point we'll discuss 5 previously undiscussed stories. Among them, Austin Rivers went in on Draymond Green on camera. Good stuff from the retired NBA player. We'll play his words. We'll do it in about 45 minutes. The American Football Coaches Association has come out in support of expanding the college football playoff and ending conference championship games. I'll give you the details on that development. We'll do it in just a bit. Wichita State, our friends in the American Conference, they have announced that they are ending their golf programs, both men's and women's, one day after North Carolina Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham told us exactly where college sports is headed. I'll walk you through that a little later on in the show. Bryson DeChambeau has suggested that the penalties he believes he'll be asked to endure if he wants to rejoin the PGA Tour are too much for him to agree to. But he said he'll just play on YouTube if he has to. Interesting situation as Live Golf seems set to disappear. I'll tell you more about that in the third segment. And TMZ is reporting that several Knicks players were rejected from a Met Gala after party that was hosted by Sabrina Carpenter and Madonna. That's a reminder that there are different levels to fame. We'll talk through that during a segment we call 5 More Things You Need to Know. Then we'll eventually do GP's Carryout, and we'll call it a day. So that's the rundown. We got a lot to get to, but I did want to Start the NBA because day 18 of the 2026 NBA playoffs. It's in the books after two more games were played last night. We had one in Detroit. The other was in Oklahoma City. Both one seeds in action. Both one seeds prevailed. Final score, Pistons 111, Cavaliers 101. Final score, Thunder 108, Lakers 90. The first game was more competitive by definition, but let's start with the second game, if only because it featured both the king and the MVP. No problems for OKC, even though the Lakers did jump to a 7-0 lead. So if you had it on NBC early, you might have got a little excited, but once the team in yellow was up 7-0, it just got bad for them. After that, they were outscored 108-83 the rest of the way. That's a 25-point difference, up by 7 in the opening minutes, lost the game by 18, now down 1-0 in a best-of-7 series. And SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the reigning MVP, he only got 18 points last night for the Thunder. Big Bet Bennett, it is good to see you on a dark and rainy Wednesday morning. Thunder Lakers was kind of close for a half, I guess, but pretty clearly one team is just better than the other. And without Luka Doncic, there just ain't much the Lakers can do against the MVP and the reigning champs. I imagine last night that second game went about the way you thought it would go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, wow, I wasn't really excited about the series when it started to look like Lucas doesn't have a great chance to play in this series. I just don't think they have a chance. I don't even know if they'll win a game.
It does not look like they'll win a game. In fact, I'm
sure they will.
I'm not sure they will.
I think they will. You'll get like a crazy LeBron effort in LA or something like that, like just to avoid the sweep, I would think. But yeah, I think this one's going to be over pretty quick. It's
a 4 or 5 game deal, and it could very easily be 4. As noted, part of the reason there seems to be no real mystery attached to how this thing's going to unfold is Luka Doncic is not playing, did not play last night. Streak closed once again. The All-NBA guard hasn't played at all since suffering a grade 2 hamstring strain. That was back on April 2nd, more than a month ago. Coincidentally, also in Oklahoma City. He missed the final 5 games of the regular season. He's now missed 7 games in this postseason. Still not running or doing full contact workouts, shooting a little bit, but that's it. There is still no timetable for a return. And among those frustrated by all of this is 16-time WWE World Champion Ric Flair, who jumped on Twitter last night to criticize the reigning NBA scoring leader. Big Bet Bennett, you see it right there. Ric Flair has had enough of Luka Doncic not playing basketball. Is that a fair criticism of Luka Doncic, or is Ric Flair somebody need to tell him to log off?
Well, first off, I'm not sure Ric Flair's won 16 WWE championships. Is that right?
Bennett, you're arguing with the internet right now. He is sometimes credited with 21 championships, also yes. 26, but as it pertains to WWE, the number appears to be 16.
They gave him 16?
You think I'm just talking off the top of my head, Bennett?
Well, he wasn't in WWE all that long. I mean, he was early and then he was late, but that's
Ric Flair is officially recognized by WWE as a 16-time world champion.
When they put all these titles on him.
You want to apologize for questioning me? I'll accept your apology.
Nah, I'll do my own research.
It's 16. What do you want me to do? It's 16. Why are we arguing about how many heavyweight
let me know.
world championships Ric Flair has? 16. WWE officially recognized.
Okay. But
that's where we're at.
Total?
Either 21 or 26. Why is this the place where you wanted to stop?
Oh, that's because that's a big deal. I mean, listen, when it comes to like NBA talk, accolades matter quite a bit, right? Like that's how we start these conversations.
It's a fair point.
I want to be careful when we're talking about WWE, and other big wrestling promotion championships.
It's a fair point.
Ric Flair, he's on people's Mount Rushmore, and we want to credit appropriately because that's a big deal.
In some circles, he is considered the greatest professional wrestler of all time.
Yeah.
In some circles. I don't know what circle you hang out in, but in some circles, he would be considered the greatest of all time. Officially recognized by WWE as a 16-time world champion.
Because here's the chat's helping me out here. It's because WWE is recognizing the other champ. Because remember, WWE absorbed WCW, so they're counting the WCW championships as WWE. That's their company now,
Which just to clarify, means everything I've said so far is exactly right.
Yeah, I just think there should have been more clarification on the statement. It's fine. It's okay.
I'm sorry that I didn't distinguish between his WCW titles and his WWE titles and instead grouped them all together.
Yeah.
But as of, May 6, 2026, officially, Ric Flair is recognized as a 16-time WWE champion. But that's not the point. I promise that's not the point. The point is Ric Flair got fired up last night.
I didn't know he was a Lakers fan. That makes sense, though. Like the glitz, the glamour, like Nature Boy. Like that makes sense that he would be a Lakers fan, especially like in his era. Like that's when Magic and them are doing their thing. Like that makes sense that he'd be a Lakers fan.
Or it's possible he's not a Lakers fan as much as he's just not a fan of little bitches. He might not just be a fan of little bitches, you know? So here's what Ric Flair tweeted last night while Luka Doncic was once again sitting there in street clothes watching a basketball game. Ric Flair tweeted, "Luka, please get in the game. Take a shot of cortisone and deal with the pain. They are paying you $50 million a year and you're not there. WTF. I hope Jeannie Buss, tagged her, trades you next year. Nobody wants a lame duck on their team." Your thoughts?
I mean, I understand. I mean, Ric Flair that man probably won titles through back injuries, knee injuries. Like he probably just went back in the locker room. They shot him up. He went back out there and won a title. One of the 16.
I think that's among the reasons most wrestlers don't live to see the age Ric Flair's lived to see.
Oh, he's for sure an anomaly, which gives him the right to speak on this.
I guess so. I guess my first issue.
What?
I don't think he knows what a lame duck is.
A lame duck.
Yeah, a lame duck is an elected official. Here's what a lame duck is. Okay. A lame duck is an elected official or legislative session in the final weakened period of their term after a successor has been elected or re-election has failed. In other words, in simple terms, Donald Trump at the end of his first term was a lame duck president. Similarly, Joe Biden at the end of his only term was a lame duck president. Luka Doncic, contrary to Ric Flair's tweet, is not a lame duck anything. He's, you ready for this? An injured basketball player. It's just an injured basketball player. Nothing more, nothing less. Let me ask you a serious question.
Yes.
Why do people do this? I don't mean just Ric Flair, but this is not unique to Ric Flair. Ric Flair is not the only person sitting around on a Tuesday night wondering why Luka Doncic isn't playing. It's game one against the Thunder. Why are you not playing? People do this. Why? In what world does a real person, how do you get to a point as a real person where you actually think the NBA's scoring leader and one of the great players in the world, he could have played last night in game one of the Western Conference semifinals against the Thunder, but he didn't because he just didn't want to play basketball last night. Ric Flair seems to believe that, and other people do too. My question is a simple one. Why?
Well, I would say just from the specific Ric Flair perspective, that's what I said. It's like that dude probably fought through a million injuries, and so when he sees someone has what's Luka's hamstring?
Grade 2 hamstring.
Yeah, when he sees Luka has a hamstring, I'm sure a guy like Ric Flair is rolling his eyes at that, which, fine, point taken.
I just feel like we should be smart enough as a people at this point to understand that hamstrings are no joke. It's a hard thing for a basketball player to deal with. And I'm not saying a basketball player's never set out a regular season game that they could have played in. I know some. I know some who've done that. Okay?
Okay.
I'm not saying that's never happened. I'm saying it defies logic to think that one of the great basketball players in the world could have played last night, but chose not to, for whatever reason you think. Game one of the Western Conference semifinal. It just makes it is such a silly thing to think, and yet I know it's not unique to Ric Flair. Otherwise reasonable people think Luka Doncic is less than something because he wasn't in uniform last night. And I submit the reason he wasn't in uniform last night is because, you ready for this? He has a grade 2 hamstring strain, and it takes a while to recover from that. And we've known this since he was diagnosed.
Yeah.
They were telling us 2 weeks ago, even if the Lakers advance past Houston, he probably won't even be able to play in the next series. And so now here we are. It is unfolding exactly the way we thought. And people are like, why is he not playing? Because he has a hamstring strain. That's why he's not playing. It's simple as that.
And that is one of those injuries where it's not, you can't just like fight through it. Like it's just
there is no fighting through that.
You can't run.
You can't run. As I tried to detail within the past year, not to compare myself to a professional athlete or to a much younger man. Luka Doncic is in his mid-20s. I'm in my late 40s. He's a world-class athlete. I'm me, all right? We're very different people. But I have a hamstring. He has a hamstring. And I tore mine within the past year or so. And I'm telling you, once you do that, you ain't doing anything for a little while. 3 weeks after I tore my hamstring, you could have offered me $50,000 cash to just run a 40-yard dash. I don't even need to hit a certain time to collect the money. I just need for it to register. He ran as hard as he can run. He ran as fast as he can run. $50,000 cash, GP, just give me 40 yards as hard as you can go. Can't do it. Like, you cannot do that. And that's just an old man running 40 yards. Now, compare it to playing basketball. I need 40 minutes out of you tonight against other world-class athletes, and you can't move. Like, that's the other thing. He's not even doing 3-on-3 work, 5-on-5 work. Mm-hmm. This is not a choice he's made. It is an injury that has happened to him more than a month ago. I understand the frustration, but he's just a hurt basketball player.
It's tough.
What are you huffing and puffing about? Do you disagree? Do you disagree?
No,
do you think he's being a bitch instead?
No. I agree. I think he really is still
I just
hurt.
watch this stuff and I'm like, what? Do we just need something to yell about? It just seems crazy to me.
It's one of those because it's the playoffs. And he's out. I think like in your head you tell yourself, well, God, it's just a hamstring. Like, even I know you can't run on a hamstring injury, but man, like, it's been this long. Like, what's going on? Why isn't it healing? I think just as fans get so frustrated because like every single day matters when you're on this playoff timeline. Mm-hmm. Like, I can understand the frustration, but
I hear what you're saying. Like, it's just a hamstring. Why can't you play? Is no different than this. I want to chop off both your hands, and then I'm going to ask you, why can't you type?
Right. No, listen.
Why aren't you typing? Well, I don't have fingers. I can't. You know why I'm not typing? You're telling me to type. I'm not typing. You want to know why? Because I can't. Because I can't type. I'm not capable of doing what you're asking me to do. Similarly, Luka Doncic is not capable of playing basketball right now. It is as simple as that.
I think also, too, like NBA fans in general are just so annoyed with the Thunder that they're just like, come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous. Like anything so they just don't like cakewalk straight to the finals again.
Oh, by the way, one of their second best player is also sidelined.
That's true.
You know, so like
they got an excuse too.
I just watched this last night. I had fun with that. I laughed at Ric Flair, but then at some point recognized this is not an opinion. Ric Flair is not the only old person sitting around tonight wondering why Luka Doncic isn't playing basketball. And yet we've had the answer since the moment he was diagnosed.
Yeah.
He was always unlikely to play basketball on May 5th, 2026, after he was diagnosed with a grade 2 hamstring strain following an incident on April 2nd, 2026. As soon as the diagnosis came, we knew it was unlikely that he was not going to play on May 5th if the Lakers were playing on May 5th. If you were surprised you didn't see him in a uniform last night, you just, I guess, weren't listening to the doctors.
Yeah.
Either way, the Lakers are now 7-5 since Luka was sidelined. Unless he returns soon, and that seems unlikely, they will possibly finish 7-8 since he went down on April 2nd and be swept right out of the Western Conference semifinals. Either way, Game 2 is set for Thursday night. OKC right now listed as a 15.5-point favorite. As for last night's early game, got lopsided early, tight late, But in the end, the better team won. Final score, Pistons 111, Cavs 101. Double-digit victory for Detroit. The Pistons led 37-21 after the first quarter. Game seemed possibly over there, but Cleveland actually pulled close in the third, and then they tie it 93-93 in the fourth with 5:28 remaining. Let's go. We got a game, right? Scores tie with less than 5 minutes to go. Good stuff. But how many times does Bennett have to tell you guys you cannot trust Donovan Mitchell and or James Harden in high-stakes situations? He said it multiple times yesterday, and then last night, after Cleveland tied it, 93-93, that Cavs team, led by Donovan Mitchell and James Harden, that Cavs team was outscored 18-8. The rest of the way, Donovan Mitchell, 1 of 4 from the field in the final 8 minutes last night. James Harden had just 4 points in the final 5:27 in a time when Cleveland needed either future Hall of Famer to take over. Neither did. Big Bet Bennett. Do you feel validated?
I mean, I don't want to say I feel validated.
You can.
We'll see.
You can feel validated if you want to feel validated.
We'll see how the series goes. We'll see how the series goes. I mean, I thought when they made the move for James Harden, it was kind of a desperate move. And I know they needed to get Darius Garland out of there because it wasn't working with him and Donovan Mitchell. But I was just like, this does not seem like some massive upgrade for them at all. It felt a little desperate, like we got to do something because we know we're not on the par of, the Pistons, the Celtics, the Knicks. Like we're not there right now. So I think it just kind of is what it is with them. I think they're in a weird spot because, you're a good team, you're a good regular season team, but like I just do not see that team in their current construction ever getting to an Eastern Conference Finals.
Well, I never say never because like if Cade Cunningham had a hamstring strain, tomorrow night, this thing could unfold.
The injuries could change that.
Yeah, injuries can always change anything. But yeah, I give them, and in terms of the series we watched get started last night, I would give Cleveland an obviously better chance to make it more interesting.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked at all if they make this a good series. Right. I just don't think they got a chance of winning it.
But they got a better chance than that. Lakers Thunder thing just looks like it's going to be what it is.
Yeah.
Whereas if you told me we were going to get a Game 6 Pistons-Cavs in Cleveland with an opportunity for Donovan Mitchell to get a win at home and force a Game 7 back at Little Caesars, I could see that. I can't see the Lakers getting to a Game 6 with an opportunity to force a Game 7 back in OKC. But I could see Cleveland doing that. 2 more games tonight. We get Game 2 Sixers-Knicks, and then Game 2 Timberwolves-Spurs, which, as we talked about yesterday, is just huge. I mean, the series can go a variety of ways, but the Spurs were the favorites in the series, still are the favorites in the series. But if you lose Game 2 at home after losing Game 1 at home, you just got a real math problem going forward. Like, you might be the better team, but at some point it doesn't matter if you're the better team. You go down 0-2 with both losses coming at home. Now you got to go win 4 of the next 5, and 3 of the next 5 would be played on the road. Again, you can be the better team. You can have the best player. You go down 0-2 with 2 home losses, you got a math problem that's very difficult to overcome. Not just for you specifically, but in the history of the NBA. Get Vernon's thoughts on it. Do that next.
Sonic Radio. Welcome back to Sonic RNDIO. That spells radio with me, the CIO. This just in, the new Sonic $1.99 menu lets you build a crave-worthy meal for just $1.99 an item. Whether that's a creamy shake, crispy tots, or a quarter-pound double cheeseburger. This just out. Ostriches. They're mean, not very cute, and in my opinion, way too big for a bird. Don't miss the Sonic Fun 99 menu. 5 items, always $1.99. Live free, eat Sonic.
Tax not included. See menu for details.
Let's face it, there's a lot of trash talk in basketball. But the great teams let their performance do the talking. Like Ford F-150 with Pro Power on board. A class-exclusive industry-first feature that turns your truck into a mobile generator and leaves the competition speechless. Ford F-150, official truck of the Grizzlies. Greatness starts here at your Mid-South Ford dealer. Class is full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Each challenge is unique, so each game plan is customized to identify opportunity and the path to victory. It's true in basketball. It's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle with personalized planning and advice. Play hard. Bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by May 30th, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Kevin Garnett returned to Minnesota. How awesome was this? Look at this.
That's love right there.
When he walks in, and they brought him out of the tunnel. They're like, welcome back. They played like a tribute video.
That's the reason why guys like TA and them are here, bro.
It's the best.
You want to see the OGs back showing love.
It's the best. That is the best. Nothing has felt more wrong than Kevin Garnett not being a part of that.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app. Junior Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. With camps across the Mid-South in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, you won't have to go far for the ultimate hoops experience this summer. Registration comes with a Junior Grizzlies jersey, lunchbox, and a basketball to take home. Don't wait, space is limited. Visit grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies.
Welcome back, Gary Parrish Show, presented by Ortho South. We're inside the Built Ford Tough Studio, and on Wednesday's second segment, I'm joined by Chris Vernon, host of the Chris Vernon Show. Weekdays, noon, Grind City Media. He's here right now. Oklahoma City Lakers, that was the big NBC game last night. Close for a half, I guess. But at some point, I think it was Vince Carter in studio said, LeBron's going to have to win a quarter, and it can't be the fourth, because if it's the fourth, you're probably getting blown out. If you go look at the box score, Lakers lost the first quarter and the second and the third and the fourth. It's just not a fair fight, is it?
No.
Right.
It wouldn't be a fair fight with Luka either.
Right.
I mean, I think I read yesterday in 59 minutes that Luka was on the court against Oklahoma City this year, they got outscored by 56 points. I mean, they just don't have the defenders.
Right.
Right? And that's what was so deplorable about what happened with the Houston Rockets, is because their offense was so ridiculously inept that they were not able to take advantage of this terrible Achilles heel that the Lakers have, which is they don't have a bunch of defenders, right? There's going to be soft spots everywhere in that defense that a good team with a good offense can make you pay for having those guys out. Because make no mistake, as you're watching these playoffs all play out, this is all defense. This is all defense. Grit and grind Grizzlies be fine in these playoffs.
I actually
110 is winning these games, bro. Look at the scores.
I actually saw a stat last night floating around Twitter, and it was something along the lines of before last night's games in the playoffs, shots were being contested 67% of the time, which is like an all-time high for playoff basketball. The myth that these guys don't guard is just crazy wrong. Well, they guard. They are guarding like crazy.
And three-point shooting is down. Yeah. Dramatically. Right? And it's not three-point shooting. It's not always the amount of 3 points that are shot, even though that's down as well, but it is the players that are getting the 3-point shots. Defense has caught up at a rapid pace. And I think part of that is because the same way that shooting took off because Golden State won the title, and people went, oh, well, we got to be able to battle them. We got to be able to have shooting, right? Like you're gonna have to score with them. People looked at Oklahoma City and go, God, bro, if you got a great defense,
right,
your offense becomes way easier.
Yeah.
So people watch and they go, Detroit stinks on offense. But they generate so much easy because they're amazing defensively.
Get stops and go.
Minnesota, same way. You're watching them. They're grinding you down. Outside of the Knicks, who have exploded offensively, I think they had 137 the other night or something. I mean, they've had like 4 in a row where they've gone ballistic. Go look at the scores. Right. I mean, 110 points is winning these games. Is winning them. That's all you have to do. I tell you, you're going to score 110 in a game. And so things have changed rapidly, and you better be able to defend or else you're not going to be able to win these games.
I think Chris Finch was talking the other night specifically about Terrence Shannon. And I believe it was even before he played kind of well in whatever. And he said, when you look at his body type and when you look at his athleticism, there's no reason he can't be a plus defender. He just needs to do it.
Yep.
And it's always interesting to me because basketball there's a lot of different skills involved in it. You look at somebody who struggles to shoot, we go, that's a swing skill if they can ever improve that. But like we know what it's like a lot of hours, a lot of technique, a lot of work. If you have the proper athleticism and the proper body type, defense. Is it just like, do you want to do this or not?
Yes,
it really is.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because you're watching now, guys that can defend but can't shoot are staying on the court.
That's right.
But guys that can shoot and can't defend,
go sit down. Yeah.
And that's changed.
Yes.
Right? Because there was a place for those guys just a few years ago. But right now, Dyson Daniels will play. Sir Thompson's the most impactful guy going, on one team. And you look around, and there's a bunch of these guys that could get on the court. And so it's interesting. It's interesting how this will play a part in this draft coming up because things have swung. And I'm watching these games and seeing these point totals, and there's no way around it. Like, you better be able to defend with the other team more so. It used to be you had to be able to score with the other team.
Right.
That's not so anymore.
I think it's maybe different in college, though, because I've heard Dan Hurley talk about this, and he was joking, but not joking. He said, I'm done recruiting basketball players who can't play offense.
Right.
He said, I will teach an offensively gifted player how to guard. And what he means by that is I can just MF them. I can get in your face and get you to guard.
Yep.
But if you can't shoot, I can't teach you to shoot in a year.
Right.
If you can't process things, I can't teach you to process things.
Right.
So he recruits offensive players and then MFs them to get them to guard.
Yeah.
And so it's a little bit of an opposite.
It is different, right? Yeah. Whereas these guys, what you're hoping is you could take them in the gym and you can.
Right.
Shooting can develop.
Oh, sure.
Right? Shooting can develop. Like that's we have seen that over and over and over the years, and certainly even more at an advanced stage. Like, you guys were talking yesterday, right? Conley hits that monstrous corner three. Watch 4 years of Mike Conley not being able to shoot, maybe longer, right?
And then he turns into like the most reliable shooter.
Same with Jason Kidd, same with Rajon Rondo,
Vince Carter.
You could go through a million of these guys, right? Like you can become a guy that's maybe not great, but reliable shooter.
Lou Dort. Last night, he's knocking down shots. And I remember it wasn't too long ago in a playoff series where the narrative was they're not guarding him and he's just launching and missing and they're just not. And like he has changed who he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And defense is winning, man. Defense is winning. There's no way around it. Like, we watched the team go 4 for 37 and a half. The Magic did. You know what I mean? Desmond Bane's a great offensive player. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter. Paolo, great offensive player. Didn't matter.
So the stuff coming out of Orlando now, they moved on the coach as expected, but there's still reports like whoever the coach is, they've got a Paolo Banchero problem. Is that a real thing?
No. What? A problem?
They that he's difficult, and it's not just he couldn't get along with Jamal Mosley. He might not be able. He might be the type that can't get along with anybody.
Then I'd bring in Tibbs.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
Yeah.
I would bring in Tibbs. I don't buy it. I don't buy that. He seems like an incredibly hard worker, and that seems like internet fodder more than. As far as I know, has anything ever been reported about Paolo Banchero being a bad teammate or a bad reported? I'm not talking rumors.
Right.
I'm not talking like, hey man, they say Paolo's hard to deal with. Okay, what? Tell me what?
Yeah. I know.
What happened?
Yeah.
Like if you wanted to say Morant, like there's a you know what I mean? There's videos.
Yes.
There's video. Have you ever seen Paolo quit? Have you ever seen him call out Jamal Mosley? Have you ever seen, you know what I'm saying?
I will say,
as far as I know, Paolo Banchero has never done anything outside of people opining that Jamal Mosley and him aren't on the same page. And it might, frankly, the whole team didn't look on the same page with Jamal Mosley.
And they might not have been on the same page because, like, maybe that guy's not good at his job and Paolo recognized it.
Possible.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's possible. But, I mean, I don't think Paolo Banchero has never, as far as I know, I'm willing to listen to the evidence to suggest that he's difficult, but there's a bunch of guys who have been difficult over the years. We have dealt with them ourselves. Yeah. As far as I know, outside of people just saying that, I don't know anything he's done.
I was around him a little bit when he was in high school and then in that 1 year at Duke. And I can just say when you started asking questions about him, you didn't hear.
No.
It was just good stuff. Yeah. And I spent some time with his father, Mario. And it's a 2-parent family, awesome family. Like just impressive all around. So my point is, if he's really become this young problem in the NBA, it is not something that there were any indicators for coming out of Duke.
Maybe it's because their offense is just 5 guys standing around and watching him go.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes the guy who's sometimes the super talented guy who always looks like he's upset at work is because he's surrounded by people he hates who can't do their jobs as well as he can do theirs.
It's possible.
Yeah, I've heard stories like that before. Tonight, Game 2, Spurs, Timberwolves. I mean, just massive. This is huge.
Yes, for sure. And I mean, it was massive for Minnesota to hold on to that. I do think this series would be completely different if they had thrown that up. If Randall takes that last shot, rebound goes down, and Champagnie knocks down that 3. You got a chance at it being a short series.
It's just a punch.
You know what I mean? Because that one is and then we've been through that. We went through it with Golden State years ago, where this is the Klay Thompson, pumping his fist like he won the championship after Ja, went to the rim and missed it. That was the end of Game 1. And we've won, and we lost a bunch of Game 1s. In the past, and they always feel like it really feels like you're going to look back and go, oh my God. I mean, you were one shot away from this all being different.
It almost feels like now we got to win. Now we got to beat them 5 times.
Yeah, and right. And I do think this will probably be I would be surprised if there was not a very good response from San Antonio. They're too good. They've been too good throughout the year. We also went through this when we played against Minnesota many years ago. If there's one thing that Chris Finch is great at doing, it's analyzing your team and going, okay, here's what makes them go. Here's the other thing that makes them go. And how do we make life hell on this guy? And how do we make life hell on this guy? And so De'Aaron Fox has 10 points, and Victor Wembanyama has 11 points. And so inevitably what you're going to do is you're going to go back, and if you're any coach worth their salt, you're going to go back, you're going to look at that and go, all right, how do we make things easier on, right? That only gets to work once, right? Where De'Aaron Fox is seeing a second guy all the way up at the free throw line. Victor Wembanyama is getting bully balled by Julius Randle. And so they're going, okay, how do we deal with that? How do we deal with that, right? It worked the first time around, but how do we deal with these things to make it effective for us? And so, they proved the ability to be able to adjust throughout the year. And so, but it certainly makes this a highly entertaining series that makes it's much more likely that this series is a 7-game series than a 5-game series now.
No question. I just hope tonight it's not one of those deals where San Antonio jumps on them and it's like, well, all we want to do was split.
Right.
Just like let's play. I want to be just
I don't think that's Minnesota's MO though. Like
Ant's trying to get you every night.
Well, and I was listening to Nick Wright was talking about this, about how teams take on the personalities of their best players in many ways, and that you see that with that Minnesota team. Right. And I agree with that. Right. He's just he thinks he's the best player in the world.
Yes.
And he thinks they should win.
Yes.
Every time.
Yeah.
And thinks like let's go. And like you see those guys follow suit. And you got to remember the 3 major ones, three of those guys, they've been together for 6 years now. I mean, him, Reed, and McDaniels all came in together.
And they've been to back-to-back Western Conference Finals, and we just dismissed them almost like they have no shot.
Well, I think they got dismissed mostly because of, once Edwards and Dosunmu were out,
right?
It was like, good grief. Right. I mean, before that series, before the Ant stuff, they were 200-1.
Huh.
200-1. And then Ant came back.
Right.
And now they're 35-1.
Yeah, totally
Something
reasonable.
like that.
Yeah, totally reasonable.
It was just, he's got this. Ant's got this injury. They're without Dosunmu. DiVincenzo tore his Achilles. I mean, there is, I don't think that we discounted them until all that happened,
right.
And then discounted them for good reason, because it's like, you can't lose your best player and 3 of your top 7.
Right.
Like, it's just,
like, at that point,
bridge too far.
At that point, it was like, will they be able to beat Denver even one more time?
Right.
And they got that done.
Did it.
Yeah, and now here they are, up 1-0 with Game 2 set for tonight. All right, I'll let you get to the big studio. That's Chris Vernon. He'll be over there. Hour and 20 minutes from now, Chris Vernon's show coming up at noon, Grind City Media. When we come back, oh, buddy, I couldn't wait to get to this. Austin Rivers decided to make a 3-minute video addressing Draymond Green's criticisms of him. I mean, it's about as good as you can do. If you're going to line up and take aim at Draymond Green, it's about as good as you can do. We'll play you Austin Rivers. We'll do it next.
When the arena lights dim for a concert, or when the crowd becomes one at a big game, you can almost feel like you're the biggest fan. But who's your biggest fan? It's the person who will get you home safely after a night of drinking. It's a person who looks out for your life to make sure you leave the stadium with someone sober. This could be a designated driver or someone who offers to give you a ride share. Because in Tennessee, fans don't let other fans drive drunk. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, a division of the Tennessee Department of Safety and Homeland Security.
The heaviest metal credit card of all time. Rumored to be one of only 18 in existence. Plated with the very same tungsten that forged the International Space Station. And wielded at business dinners like a samurai sword. It's a classic corporate power move. But the real power move? Having end-to-end visibility on your most critical shipments. FedEx, the new power move.
New Amsterdam Vodka is an official partner of the Memphis Grizzlies. It's the only exceptionally smooth vodka that is 5 times distilled, 3 times filtered, and rated 93 points. New Amsterdam believes wins big and small become legendary when you celebrate them with your crew. So here's to the blue, white, and gold, the Memphis grit and grind, and reliving winning moments big and small with Tennessee's favorite basketball team. New Amsterdam Vodka. Find your wins.
Kevin Garnett returned to Minnesota. How awesome was this? Look at this.
That's love right there.
When he walks in, and they brought him out of the tunnel. They're like, welcome back. They played like a tribute video.
That's the reason why guys like TA and them are here, bro.
This is the best.
You want to see the OGs back showing love.
It's the best. That is the best. Nothing has felt more wrong than Kevin Garnett not being a part of that.
The Chris Vernon Show, live on weekdays at noon on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Kroger shoppers and Grizz fans. Want exclusive last-minute discounted ticket deals texted straight to you? Sign up with the new Kroger Buzzer Beater deal. Fans can sign up by texting Grizz to 636-479 or visit your local Kroger store in the Delta Division and scan the QR code. By signing up, you agree to receive recurring automated promotional and personalized marketing text messages from the Memphis Grizzlies. Consent is not a condition of any purchase. Message frequency varies. Message and data rates may apply.
Orthopedic injuries can be unpredictable, unforeseen, and unscheduled, and Ortho South understands this better than anyone. Since your injuries don't make appointments, you don't need to either. That's because Ortho South welcomes walk-ins during the weekdays and the evenings, and even on Saturdays. So next time an unforeseen injury makes an unscheduled appearance in your life, visit orthosouth.org to find your nearest urgent care location. Just walk in, and Ortho South will take care of everything, especially you. Learn more, orthosouth.org. That's orthosouth at orthosouth.org. Now, I got 5 more things you need to know.
Number 1.
Austin Rivers destroyed Draymond Green. Have you seen it? Have you watched it on your own time?
I have watched it, yes.
I watched it like 3 or 4 times.
Pretty good.
It's my favorite 3 minutes that anybody's made over the past 24 hours. Let me give you the background. You know Austin Rivers, right?
Yes.
So, high school All-American, 5-star prospect, went to Duke, incredible there, one and done, lottery pick, played more than a decade in the NBA. Now he is a member of the media. He's an NBA analyst. And frankly, I think a pretty good one.
I think he's good too.
Okay. So anyway, as an NBA analyst, sometimes you are asked to talk about the NBA and sometimes specifically about Draymond Green. This comes after Draymond Green had on his own podcast suggested that Steve Kerr was holding him back offensively. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh, but like he seems to really believe that he could have been something different if Steve Kerr would have just, let him shoot a little bit more. Hey, instead of Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Kevin Durant getting these shots, let's give them to Draymond Green.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was funny. Austin Rivers heard about this, was asked about this, and was just like, you're criticizing Steve Kerr for how he used you? Like, Steve Kerr, like, with all due respect, Steve Kerr, like, made your career. Like, what are we talking about? It was polite, but, straightforward. And then Draymond Green decided he was going to respond to that. And Draymond Green responded by saying this: I just find it interesting that a guy who was the 10th pick in my draft, and I was the 35th pick. This is Draymond talking. I just find it interesting. He was the 10th pick in his draft. Now he's on his second act. I'm still on act 1. I just find it interesting that he would say such things. He goes, Draymond's never been a scorer. Well, Austin, you and I averaged the same amount of points in high school when you were a scorer. And I say high school because that's when you were at your best.
Damn.
So that was Draymond Green to Austin Rivers. And I was like, okay. I wonder what happens next. Here's what happens next. Kyra, here's Austin Rivers, 3 minutes. Play it and let's just enjoy.
Come on, Draymond. This is ridiculous. Seriously. Ridiculous. But you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you were mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show. But it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally immature, and your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you can think of in high school. I was ranked number 1. You were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months. Something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. The NBA, hey, man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right? You got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have the delusion, the non-wherewithal, the irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you were the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with the Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach, Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time, and perhaps the top 5 player of all time, Steph Curry, Hall of Famer. One of the greatest shooters, top 5 shooter of all time, another Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson. The Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer. I know, keep up, it's a lot of talent. Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time and arguably a top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this, your mouth. You talk too much. And that's not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingstons, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you also chased off. Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you. There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team. Talking about Steve Kerr hindered your career. Bro, Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you? Coming at me? Are you kidding me? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staff. You need to fall back, Dre. Let's just be frenemies.
Damn. That was good. And I was like, I was, because obviously he's right. Like Draymond has had the better NBA career.
Sure.
There's no doubt about it. But like when you put it in context like that, my God,
I mean,
it was a pretty good comeback by Austin Rivers there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that is pretty good.
That's pretty good. If you want to explain in great detail how Draymond Green should be a little more appreciative of Steve Kerr and exactly where he landed in this world, I thought Austin Rivers there did a pretty nice job of laying it out. It's not unlike what others have said about Draymond Green before when he starts popping off like this. Charles Barkley said the same thing. You think you're Justin Timberlake, you're Joey Fatone, but you walk around talking like you're Justin Timberlake. Like, yeah, you're in NSYNC, but you ain't who you think you are in NSYNC. And the only reason any of us even know who you are is because you were fortunate enough to work with Justin Timberlake. So we know who you are because he pulled you to a level of stardom you otherwise would have. You just better be glad you weren't drafted by Charlotte. If you were drafted by Charlotte, you've been out of the league 5 years ago. I do think there's some truth to that kind of stuff. Draymond Green would be an impactful basketball player anywhere.
Yes.
I will die on this one. He's drafted anywhere else, he is not a Hall of Famer. His Hall of Fame career is directly attached to where he was drafted and how he was handled. And it would not have happened anywhere else, period.
I can't argue with that. I think that's probably fair.
And I
think he would definitely be an impactful NBA player for a long time, but I'm not sure to what. Not to that level.
He would not have made this money. He would not be this famous. He would not have these titles. He would not be headed to the Hall of Fame if he was drafted literally by any other franchise and spent his career in any other situation. And that's the thing that irritates, whether it's Charles Barkley or Austin Rivers or anybody else who hears Draymond constantly popping off and talking about, well, this guy sucks and that guy sucks. It's like, bro, you suck. You're going to be in the Hall of Fame and you got those rings. Congratulations. But in terms of just like, if we were drafting teams, like, like, hey, I'm pick my team, you pick your team. Like we wouldn't get to you that quickly. So you need to calm down. There's some real truth to that. And it irritates other people that he's the one person in the world that doesn't seem to understand that.
And as much as I can't stand the dude, I would have loved to have had him on my team at some point.
You ready?
I would have.
I would have never wanted him on my team.
I would have. I do. When you remember, because remember he said that like he was going to come to Memphis. Remember that when he was talking about it on his podcast? I think about that. I do. I'm like, man, I feel like that would have been the right player at the right time. I really do.
I doubt it. I don't think it would have gone well.
He's a glue guy. He is a glue guy.
He punches his teammakes. That's the opposite of glue guy.
Okay, well, he punched Jordan Poole.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Fair point. Point taken.
Yeah.
but still.
like that was the only part in that I was like, I mean, he ran off Jordan Poole. Like, that's not that big a deal.
He did run off Kevin Durant.
He did run off Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He did run off Kevin Durant.
Like that's the part that I bet hurts a little bit because it's like, Draymond can convince himself, I'm not the reason. But that is what other players think. Like Austin Rivers is like, bro, everybody knows why KD got out of there. It's because of you. He didn't want to. He was tired of you.
Mm-hmm.
To what degree that's true or not, but
we've seen the clips of Draymond like yelling at KD, like that, and then KD's like, "Okay, dude."
Yeah,
yeah.
And we see clips of Steph the exact same facial expression. Draymond's going wild, and Steph's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Again, you're doing this again, right? So I would not have wanted, I said this in real time whenever it was reported that he was at least considering the Grizzlies or that was maybe in the works. I'm in no control over it. Like the Mets have had people on their roster that I would prefer them not to have on the roster because I would prefer not to root for that person, right? I'm not in control of it. So I don't boycott the franchise because they got a bad guy playing left field or whatever. But I prefer to not have to deal with that kind of stuff. And I would not have wanted to, not just as a fan of the Grizzlies, but as technically an employee of the Grizzlies, have to come in here and pretend I didn't think Draymond Green was just ridiculous in his actions over and over again. I wouldn't want to have to come in here and be like, well, I mean, did he really kick him though? Like, how big? Like, are you sure it was a kick? Are you sure it was a kick? And I mean, I know it looked like he choked him from behind, but it's just basketball, isn't it? I mean, is it really? I wouldn't have not have wanted to do that. I wouldn't have had to come in here and be like, I just don't know why everybody thinks Draymond Green's out there starting stuff. He's just playing basketball. I wouldn't have had no interest in that. I'm glad he was never here. I hope he responds to Austin Rivers, though. I'm
sure he will.
Oh, he can't help himself. He'll have to.
Yeah, he'll have to. He'll have to, for sure.
But this feels a little bit like, how do you, what is the next thing you can say? It feels like Austin Rivers has taken every bullet.
He covered all the bases.
He covered all the bases. Like, what is the thing you can say? Once you say about yourself what somebody else was going to say about you, where do they go? In other words, you think I was an inferior professional basketball player to you. Okay, sure. You're right. You're going to the Hall of Fame, and I'm not. You're still in the league, I'm not. Okay, you got me. But this idea that we were the same player in high school, that's crazy, and I can show you. This idea that we were the same player in college, that's nutty, and I can show you. The idea that Steve Kerr held back your career, that's bananas, and everybody knows that. You need to just shoot more? You're teammates with Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. You should never shoot. What are you talking about? But yeah, you've had a better professional career than me. I wish I had got drafted by the Warriors. I wish I could have played with Steph and Klay and KD. I'd have those rings too. Just like everybody else who played with Steph and Klay and KD has those rings. Everybody else has those rings. They don't have them because of you. They have them because of them. You have them because of them, not because of you, which is not to suggest he didn't play a role. That's obviously taking it too far. But once somebody says, yeah, you have a better professional career than me, but it ain't why you think, and then really with details, hammers it home, how do you respond to that? Like if you were Draymond Green, if you were advising him, what do you even say? Just drop it.
Yeah.
Just drop it.
Yep.
I'd just drop it and go to, hang out in Malibu or something.
Number 2.
The American Football Coaches Association has made recommendations for the sport. Among them, expanding the playoff to 24, removing conference championship games, and making sure that the entire season is wrapped up, done in the books by the second weekend of January. The things that are getting the most attention, expanding the playoff all the way up to 24 and eliminating conference championship games. One of these sounds popular. The other one, not so much. Let's start with the 2014 playoff. Is that too much?
Not to me. I love the playoff. It's fun. I'm down for more.
But you do start to you can't add to this without taking away something from this. And what I mean by that is you can't add to the playoff without taking something away from the regular season. That SEC game you used to get fired up about, because man, here it is. These two teams are playing, and one of them, if they win it, they got a shot to win the national championship. The other one, same deal, but the loser, they're done. This is the biggest game of the year. You just don't have that anymore with 24 teams because those two teams that are playing either can lose, and we're really just talking about, okay, well, now they'll be the 3 seed and they'll be the 11 seed. But the stakes for those games are not going to be what they once were if you go to 24. Remember, not too long ago, we were doing 2. We would just pick 2, and you go play, and everybody else has no shot. Then we go to 4. To go all the way to 24, college football people smarter than I think that is moving it a little too far in the direction. Perhaps you need more than we have right now, but 12, perhaps 12 is a number too low, but 24 most people seem to think is too much.
I I could still get down with it. I think too, like, from my perspective, like I think it obviously, I agree it doesn't make it takes away from the regular season in the Power 5. I wonder if it actually makes it better in like the non-Power 5.
Okay, so here's the other argument.
Yeah.
I don't really think it changes much for the non-Power 5s because at the end of the day, if you're the University of Memphis, and the story over at ESPN, like Charles Huff, I think, was quoted in it. And he just sort of said, like, just tell me how many, tell me where we're playing. For Memphis, I don't think it changes much because you got to win the American.
Yeah.
And you're in, or you don't, and you're not. Where it changes things is like, really, for the 7th place team in the SEC. That's where it changes things. And so one argument against it is you're now devaluing the regular season. These high-stakes games that we used to get excited about don't have the same stakes to them attached anymore. The counter-argument to that would be, all right, but what about the game you played last year between the 5th-place team in the SEC and the 8th-place team in the SEC? And that one might not have had nearly as much meaning because neither one of those teams has an obvious path to the college football playoff. But expanded up to 24. Now suddenly that game means something. So maybe this other game doesn't have the stakes as high, but we just made a whole new high stakes game over here that wouldn't have mattered with a shorter, smaller playoff. So you could argue it both ways.
Yeah, I think so. I'm down. I like it.
I think if you made me sit down and really analyze it, I'd say that 12's too small, 24's too big. 16. Let's start there and see what that looks like for a few years.
I'm cool with that.
No buys. We're starting with 16. Higher seeds can host the first round. Let's go to 16 before we go from 12 all the way up to 24. But it sounds like at least the recommendation is all the way up to 24. Conference championship games, it does seem like we're headed here. They just don't matter anymore.
Yeah, and they are kind of losing their luster anyways.
And they're getting more difficult to fill up the stadiums.
That's where I was going to go with this.
You want to know why?
The turnaround's too quick.
Well, it's like once upon a time, and this is not too long ago, not to do a Star Wars thing, but like if you were an Alabama fan and Alabama was in the SEC championship game, you would say, okay, we're going to go to this. And then after that, the very next thing after that, if you go back to BCS era, would just be, all right, now we play the national championship game. So we'll travel to that. So we're going to travel to the SEC championship game, then we'll travel to the BCS championship game.
Now we want to go to the playoff games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you don't know where they are.
You're going to the playoff games instead of the SEC championship game.
And you know what you're telling yourself? You're going roll tide, of course, but you're also saying it does not matter whether Alabama wins the SEC championship game or not. Alabama will be playing a football game in the college football playoff, and we want to go to that. So why are we going to spend our money to go to Atlanta, tickets, hotel, whatever you got to do? Why are we spending our money to go to a game where if we win it, we're going to the playoff? If we lose it, we're going to the playoff. It only impacts seeding. Why don't we save our money, save our time, and just plan on going to the first round playoff game and then the second round playoff game? And then, people have prioritized other things over the conference championship games. The stakes there are not, they're almost like at the Power 4 level. They're almost like, it's like watching the Big Ten men's basketball tournament championship game. It's like, and here it is, Michigan against Purdue. And the winner is, they're both going to the NCAA tournament. It doesn't really, it's cool to have it on TV, but they're both going to the same place, and they both will have a shot at a national championship regardless of what happens in this game. That's sort of where we've gotten with Power Conference championship games. The ACC perhaps being one that doesn't quite rise to that level. And so it makes sense to get rid of them. They served a purpose for a while, were incredible moneymakers, especially for the SEC, but they're no longer necessary to what we're trying to do. And if college football coaches get their way, we won't have them anymore.
Number 3.
Wichita State has announced that it is ending its men's and women's golf programs. I bring this up not only because they're a member of the American, but because it's an important story that I think illustrates where we are in college sports now. You could see this coming with the House settlement. And I sort of packaged this with another headline from the past 24 hours. Outgoing North Carolina Athletic Director Bubba Cunningham gave an interview and just sort of explained where he believes all of this is headed. And this quote comes out yesterday. afternoon. And then today, Wichita State provides a headline that sort of underlines exactly what Bubba was saying. Here's the quote. He said, I do think reconfiguring, refinancing is where we're going to end up with the non-revenue sports. I do think we'll get a system that has two very different ways of doing things. One where you will be paid to play the sport in which you compete, and another model where you will literally pay to play the sport in which you compete. In other words, Bubba Cunningham thinks not only are we going to get to a place where men's and women's golfers, men's and women's soccer players, men's and women's anything aren't making as much money as football players and men's basketball players. You might get to a point where you say, we're not even giving you a scholarship. We're not even giving you a dorm. We now have to invest all of our resources in things that matter. And I hate the way it sounds, but you don't matter anymore. That's more or less the sentiment.
I don't like that.
That's where we're headed.
Yeah.
He was asked point blank, like, how much does it cost to run a men's and women's golf program? And a number that was thrown out. I guess it's different at different places, but it was like, $2.5, $3 million annually. That can also buy you one wide receiver. So the question is, you ready? The question is, think about how awful this sounds. Here's the question. What is more valuable to the University of North Carolina or any other Power 4 university? A 5-star wide receiver out of the transfer portal who can do all the things those players can theoretically do? Or a men's and women's golf program? What's more valuable to the University of North Carolina or any other Power 4 university? That's the question. You know what the right answer is? The $3 million receiver, probably.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to see programs get underfunded all over the country and then eventually cut, eliminated. Exactly what Wichita State is doing. Because what Wichita State is telling us, they'll use a bunch of nice words to frame it in whatever way they want to frame it. But here's what Wichita State is telling us. The thing we care about on this campus is men's basketball. And every penny that goes anywhere other than men's basketball is working against our stated goal as an athletic department. And so it's not just that we don't want to rev share with our golfers. We don't want to have them on scholarship. We don't want to put them in a dorm because we can put somebody else in that dorm. We don't want to fly them to Memphis to compete because that is money we're giving to Delta Airlines that we can give to our basketball program. We liked, or at least didn't mind, having golf programs and swim teams and all this stuff when it was like all we had to do was give a scholarship, and then it became a cost of attendance stipend, but then provide a dorm, and we would make all of our money at Wichita State on men's basketball, but at other places on football. And then we'd use all this money we generate from football or men's basketball to pay for the other stuff. And that's the way college athletics worked forever.
Mm-hmm.
And we literally call them revenue sports and non-revenue sports. And so you use the money generated by the revenue sports to pay for the non-revenue sports. This is the way college athletics works. But now you've got to pay the football players. You got to pay the basketball players. You cannot succeed in a revenue sport without investing in the revenue sports. And do you know what is expected to be a very normal national championship contender in men's basketball for this upcoming season? The number your roster needs to be at to be reasonably considered like that team can win the national championship.
I would say 10.
20. It's going to be about 20.
Yeah.
If you ain't spending about $20 million on men's basketball, you probably ain't roster building the way Louisville is doing it, the way Kansas is doing it, the way Michigan is doing it, the way Tennessee is doing it. So that's $20 million some schools need to spend just to have the same caliber of basketball program they used to have with the cost of a scholarship.
Mm.
So this is going to happen all over the country. Athletic directors, university presidents, chancellors, they're going to look at it and they're going to say, the numbers don't work anymore. How do we don't have enough money for this thing we need money for. Where can we get it? Where can we cut? Well, this program here makes us nothing, never has. Our alums don't care about it. It's not like they're showing up at the golf courses on the weekends to watch our golfers. So our alums don't care about it. It makes us nothing, never has, and never will. But it does cost us something. Every time we put a golfer on a flight, it's costing us something. Every time we buy a meal for a golfer, it's costing us something. So what do you do in any other business? Like any other business, because college sports is now a business. What do you do with any other business? We got certain aspects of our business that works and other aspects that do not work. Well, let's cut the ones that don't work, focus on the ones that do. That's what Wichita State announced they're doing today. They didn't say it like that, but that is what they're doing. Whether it's a sad day for college athletics or not, I'll let other people discuss, debate, but it wasn't hard to see this day coming. Once you turned it into a business in this way, well, then it frees athletic departments, athletic directors, it frees them up to start running it more like a business. And if you were running it more like a business, you would cut the things that don't make money, and that's what's happened.
Number 4.
Bryson DeChambeau is in Virginia getting ready for a LIV Golf tournament there this weekend, and among other things was discussing his tenure with LIV. And I think I told you yesterday on the way out, he had acknowledged like he's got multiple years left on his LIV contract. And so he, as long as LIV exists, he's stuck. He's like, we've had lawyers look at it. It doesn't look like there's any way out. The more interesting question is, what if LIV doesn't exist next year? What do you do? Because then he would be under contract with a golf league that no longer has tournaments or events. So what does he do then? The thought is that he would then be freed up to rejoin the PGA Tour if they would provide a path back. And so the interesting thing yesterday, the big headline is that he spoke on this for the first time in any kind of detail. And he said that he has had, or his people have had conversations with the PGA Tour, but said it is his understanding that the penalties he would endure to return are so vast that he doesn't think that he would be willing to pay them. And he might just be a YouTube golfer going forward.
He makes a lot of money doing that.
He said, I might just try to grow my YouTube golf brand, and I'll play in the tournaments that want me. He used that term very specifically. I'll play where I'm wanted. He's like, I can bring something to the PGA Tour. It's crazy to me that they wouldn't be more open to the idea of creating what we could all agree is a reasonable path for me back. But what he suggested yesterday is they just have not done that. And I'm starting to think I might not play on the PGA Tour again. What do you do if you're the PGA Tour? It's up to you. You can have him back if you want to. Yeah. How would you handle this?
I think that, frankly, it does seem that it does feel like there's for sure some bitterness and look at you now.
There's a lot
from the PGA Tour.
And you know where it comes from? They'll never cop to it. But you know who's behind? You know who is like, hey, if we never have him back over here, we never have him back over here. The Scotty Schefflers and the Roy McIlroys, the ones who turned down hundreds of millions of dollars to stay loyal to the PGA Tour, are now looking at Bryson DeChambeau and going, we told you not to do this. We begged you not to do this. We told you how it would go. And we told you what would happen if you did it. And you did it anyway. Now live with it. That seems to be the prevailing attitude there. And also, you know what it comes down to on some level? People kind of like Brooks Koepka and really kind of wanted him back. And so they created a pathway. And not everybody likes Bryson DeChambeau the same way.
I don't know, man. He's pretty popular on YouTube.
He is popular on YouTube, but that's different than being popular in the locker room at TPC Southwind.
That's true. And I think also just the PGA, he's obviously a big name, but is your viewership change at all, whether Bryson's a part of it or not?
That's
no.
The thing. Well, that is the ultimate problem for him. If this were a team sport, if this were the NFL or the NBA or Major League Baseball, he would be capable of impacting a specific team.
Mm.
And so one of the teams would create a path for him. This is not a team sport. It's the PGA Tour. And the question becomes, if we have a normal tournament on a Sunday on CBS with Roy McIlroy, Scotty Scheffler, and Brooks Koepka, and you name them, Jordan Spieth, all the big names. If we have Bryson DeChambeau or don't have Bryson DeChambeau, how much does it move the needle at all? No question he's among the biggest stars in golf, but from our perspective, just like, as long as we got all these other guys, do we really need him? And the answer might be no.
Right.
You didn't need all them dudes to leave, but among the group that did, some of them aged out. Some of them are now irrelevant. He and John Rahm are like the two that matter at this point, or two of the few that matter. And the PGA Tour is like, you need us at this point more than we need you.
Mm-hmm.
And they look like they're going to maybe, it could all just be a negotiating tactic. Like he's saying, I'm not going to do it if this is what you're asking. And they're saying, well, then, this is what we're asking.
Yeah.
And they'll meet in the middle after 2026. I imagine something like that will happen. But for the first time yesterday, Bryson DeChambeau publicly disclosed that based on conversations he's had with the PGA Tour, even if LIV does not exist next year, he thinks it's more likely than not he's just playing on YouTube instead of playing on the PGA Tour, which must feel kind of ridiculous. Like, I know he's got all the money in the world and a nice YouTube following, but spending the prime years of your professional athletic career like on YouTube seems...
I don't know, man.
It's a lot of money.
A lot of people spending their prime years on YouTube these days. It's working out for them. So
yeah, but I think if you grew up dreaming of being on the PGA Tour,
fair.
When you're just playing with your buddies on YouTube, it probably hits a little different.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Interesting story from TMZ last night reported that after the Knicks beat the Sixers and beat their brains in on Monday night, a couple Knicks players tried to get into the after party, Met Gala after party, hosted by Madonna and Sabrina Carpenter.
Okay.
Just because, like, we're Knicks.
Yeah.
We just won a game down in Midtown.
Yeah.
We're Knicks. Couldn't get in the party. Couldn't get in the party. Turned away at the door. Congratulations on your little basketball game. Congratulations on your little basketball success.
Yeah.
But inside here, we got Sabrina Carpenter and Madonna and Hailey Bieber and Serena Williams. And you're just congratulations on your little basketball win, but you don't get to come in here. Humbling experience, but also a reminder there's different levels of fame.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to know which Knicks players were
They didn't put names on them.
Yeah.
They didn't put names on them.
Like, if it was like Jalen Brunson or, Karl Anthony Towns, like, I would be like, damn, those dudes can't get into the after party. If it's like, no offense, but like if it's like Landry Shamet, like I don't.
Landry Shamet's got no chance.
I don't know.
But here's the thing. Even Jalen Brunson is not Sabrina Carpenter, is not Hailey Bieber, is not the people who were in this room. Like, there is sports fame.
Yeah.
And then there is like fame.
I think, though, being one of the best players on a good Knicks team elevates your fame a little bit. If you're a great player on the Knicks or the Lakers, I think you're in a different stratosphere of fame than other NBA players who are great on their team.
But here's what I'm asking you. Margot Robbie was at this party.
Mm-hmm.
If Jalen Brunson sees Margot Robbie at a party, he immediately knows who that is.
Yeah.
He says, that's Barbie.
Yeah.
That's Wolf of Wall Street. I know who that is. Does Margot Robbie immediately know that's Jalen Brunson? This is what I'm talking about.
Is she a basketball fan?
Doesn't matter. You don't have to be a Barbie fan to know Margot Robbie when you see her. But is she going to know Jalen Brunson? There's different levels to this stuff. This is why there was a time where, you know who the most famous players in the NBA were? LeBron James and probably Tristan Thompson. You want to know why?
Kardashians.
Yes. I'm going to say Margot Robbie would not know Jalen Brunson.
I'd be disappointed in that.
Okay. Lauren Sanchez was at this party.
Yeah.
Jalen Brunson walks in. Does Lauren Sanchez go, that's Jalen Brunson?
I wonder who they're fans of. I would assume the Bezoses are fans of a team. I'm going to say no.
Different levels to it.
They should have let him in.
I mean, it was a nice win.
Yeah,
it was a historic win. Should have let him in. If I would have been in charge, I would have let him in.
It's their city, man.
It's there. You would think so. You think it's your city.
Yeah.
That's the thing. That's my point. You think it's your city until you realize, no, really, it's just it's Madonna's city tonight. It's Sabrina Carpenter's city tonight.
Yeah, I'd have a problem with that.
Yeah. Hey, you're just congratulations on your little basketball victory.
Mm-hmm.
But the real stars are in here behind closed doors.
I don't like that.
But congratulations on your little basketball victory. That's what they were told.
I don't like that. Very elitist. I don't like it.
I started reading about the venue. It has a capacity of 600 people.
The Met?
No. This little...
Oh, the after party.
The after party, the club where they were. It has a capacity of 600 people. But they only limited it to 200 people inside because Sabrina Carpenter decided she wanted it to be spacious. She wanted people to be able to spread out and stuff. So there was like room for 400 more people inside, and the Knicks still couldn't get in. Congrats on your little basketball win, though. That was cute.
I don't appreciate that at all.
Different levels of fame, Bennett.
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess sometimes people got to learn it the hard way. Yeah. Be back with Carryout.
Azzy's making money thanks to the new CBA.
Incredible stuff.
Her
good stuff.
Rookie contract. She is projected to make $500,000 this year, and just in comparison, Paige made $78,000 last year, and Caitlin Clark made $76,000.
Anytime we get workers getting paid what they're worth, I'm all for it.
Tune in to the Jessica Benson Show with CJ Hurt live every weekday at 8 a.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Junior Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. With camps across the Mid-South in Tennessee, Mississippi, and Arkansas, you won't have to go far for the ultimate hoops experience this summer. Registration comes with a Junior Grizzlies jersey, lunchbox, and a basketball to take home. Don't wait, space is limited. Visit grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies.
Get ready, Grizzlies fans. It is time for the Surfside Can Shuffle. Can you keep up with the cans and find Mac the Crab?
Grizzlies, take your fandom to the next level by becoming an MVP.
How long have you been an MVP? Since day one.
Enjoy the great benefits of being a season ticket member. Pre-game MVP moments, including Autograph Alley, exclusive Grizz gear deals, access to member or MVP-only player events, and much more.
He's been an MVP for 22 years!
Become a Grizzlies MVP today.
Each challenge is unique, so each game plan is customized to identify opportunity and the path to victory. It's true in basketball, it's true in banking. Grizzlies Checking from Pinnacle with personalized planning and advice. Play hard, bank easy. Open a Grizzlies checking account with at least $100 and a recurring direct deposit by May 30th, and you could receive a $200 direct deposit bonus into your account. Details at grizzliesbanking.com. Member FDIC.
Grizzlies summer camps presented by Ortho South are the key to a slam dunk summer with over a dozen 4-day camps perfect for hoopers ages 6 to 14 looking to build fundamental skills and make unforgettable memories. Space is limited, so visit grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today to secure a spot for a fun-filled summer. That's grizzlies.com/Junior Grizzlies today. Let's do carry out.
It's time for GP's Carryout. One final segment filled with stuff to take with you. It's not everything you need to know, but it's most of it. What did we miss today?
Rest in peace, Ted Turner.
Man, I saw that.
Dead at the age of 87. Do young people know how important, what a great American Ted Turner was?
I'm not sure.
It's a great American.
You wouldn't have Inside the NBA without Ted Turner.
Like, seriously, I don't think younger people would even connect these things. Turner Sports.
You would have never had WCW without Ted Turner.
Turner Sports is Ted Turner.
Yep.
Ted Turner started the Superstation TB. Like, I was reading about him this morning. His father owned like a sign company. And he took that over after his father took his own life. So there's like real trauma there. And eventually he buys a local television station down in Atlanta and then has the idea to beam it into space, and it becomes the first cable, this big cable station that's available all over the country. Then he gets the Braves and the Hawks.
Yep.
And they had been on the local channel initially, but when it becomes a cable channel, that's how there's Braves fans all over the country.
The South, yeah, especially the South, right?
Yeah. Like, there was a time in the 80s where if you wanted to watch baseball, you'd watch the Cubs on WGN or the Mets on WWR. That's why there's Mets fans and Cubs fans and Braves fans all over the country around my age. It's tied directly to this. And you'd watch the Braves on TBS. Then he eventually buys the Braves and the Hawks. He purchases the teams, but you don't want to know why? Hey, it was fun. He just was rich, and it was like, this will be a fun thing to do. But it was about, I need these television rights are the biggest thing connected to this cable station that I had. So I might as well just own the teams. Then, of course, he launches CNN. It becomes the first 24-hour cable news station network. Do you know why he decided to launch CNN? He said that he realized, because he was one of these people, he said, I work, I have things to do all day, and I get home around 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. And at that point, the nightly news is done.
Right.
And there's no internet to read. So it was like, he really did think this was his motivation. The American public is so uninformed and misinformed. I need to start a cable news network so that our country will be better informed. And you don't have to be home at 5 o'clock or 5:30 to watch the nightly news to know what's going on in the world. There will be something for you there 24 hours a day, and you'll be well informed, and the country will be better for it.
That.
Now, fast forward all these years. You could make the argument that cable news has actually deteriorated the level of anything Americans have, combined with social media. We're all here's what I think. I think we're all dumber than we've ever been, even though we have more information than we've ever had. And the reason is because we live in two different worlds. I live in the same neighborhood with people who believe totally different. And I don't even mean have beliefs in terms of what you want the world to look like, what you want this country to look like. I mean, you believe this happened and I believe this happened, and we are entering our lives. We just go through our lives believing two different set of facts, and that's led to I don't know if you pay attention, but we ain't in the best place we've ever been.
I dabble,
and I think cable news probably played a role in that. Here's the quote. Part of the reason America had so many problems, Ted Turner believed, was because his fellow Americans were so ill-informed. He thought with a news channel, he could quite possibly help save the world. He had good intentions. He had good intentions, it sounded like.
Shout out, Ted.
Shout out to Ted Turner. It sounded like he had good intentions. Without him, there would be no Turner Sports. Rest in peace. Died peacefully at the age of 87, surrounded by loved ones.
What's today's biggest game?
We're going to the NBA. We're going back to the Frostbank Center.
Okay.
Down in San Antonio, Texas. 8:30 tip, ESPN. Timberwolves at Spurs. Minnesota has taken a 1-0 lead in the series after winning Game 1 in dramatic fashion. Tonight, the Spurs are 10.5-point favorites. Anthony Edwards listed as questionable, but is expected to play. Whether he comes off the bench or not, TBD. He, of course, came off the bench in Game 1. Mike Conley was in the starting lineup. Bennett, how are you going to act?
Yeah, it keeps moving, too, in the Spurs' favor. You know what?
What?
See, this does feel like one of those where it's like, yeah, you go Spurs here because this is like the get-back game. They were kind of caught off guard in Game 1. They're going to come out on fire. They're going to beat them by 20 points because Minnesota's just, we got one, we're good. But I think I tend to agree with what Vernon was saying. I don't think Minnesota is built like that. I don't think they're the we got one team.
Jay McDaniels ain't wired that way.
I think this is going to be tight. I think the Spurs ultimately win, but I think the Timberwolves cover.
Jay McDaniels wants to get 2.
Yeah.
He ain't trying to split, trying to get 2. Bennett says take Minnesota.
Yeah.
Plus the 10.5. Tips at 8:30. It's on ESPN.
What are we watching on TV?
The Bear dropped a secret episode, special episode. Did you see this?
Yeah, I saw this.
Our episode of The Bear out of nowhere.
I need to check it out.
It's on Hulu.
Mm-hmm.
You familiar with Hulu?
I am familiar. You know how I feel about The Bear.
How do you feel about The Bear?
I think it's time to wrap it up.
Oh, Bennett.
Yeah, I think it's time to wrap it up.
I like The Bear.
I like it too, but I think like you get to a certain point, and it's time to close this chapter.
I understand the sentiment because people will be like, I just watched a whole season of The Bear and I don't think anything happened.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that. I understand where you're coming from. The Bear for me is a little bit like Better Call Saul in the sense that I don't need it to move fast. I'm just enjoying the performances.
I like the show.
I like the characters. I like the dialogue. Better Call Saul was a slow burn. I loved it. I didn't need it to go anywhere fast. I could trust that by the time we get to the end of the season, I'll be satisfied. And so I just got to take it for what it is. I know I'm going to like it at the end, so just enjoy it on the way. And I'm kind of there with The Bear still. I don't mind that it's slow or that there doesn't seem to be much of a plot for some people. I just sort of like the performances. It's good actors performing well. Special episode dropped on Hulu. It's about an hour. I turned it on last night.
And?
I fell asleep pretty quickly. I was tired.
I'll check it out.
I was tired. I will check it out. But I haven't yet.
Okay.
But I enjoy The Bear.
Good show.
It's available on Hulu right now.
What's the best thing we've read?
Adam Finkelstein, my colleague over at CBS Sports, has a new mock draft over at CBSSports.com. Do you want to know who he has the Memphis Grizzlies selecting?
I'm assuming it's at number 6, right?
He has the Memphis Grizzlies selecting at number 6. Do you want to take a guess?
I will say that he has the Memphis Grizzlies at number 6 selecting, I'll say Keaton Wagler, although I don't think he's going to be there at 6 at this point.
I'll have you know. In Adam Finkelstein's mock draft, Keaton Wagler is available at 6, but he has the Grizzlies taken Kingston Flemings instead.
Interesting.
Who would you prefer? Like, I put them both on the table. Keaton Wagler, Kingston Flemings.
Oh,
and I will hold you to this forever.
I'm more intrigued to Keaton Wagler. I just... And I think if I like Flemings too, like I'm not going to be upset, but I think if we have the choice and there's one, I think I would go Wagler just because I think he's got a chance to like be real special. Just the size, the shooting,
having never had lunch with either, having never worked out either, so the evaluation lacks those things. And those are things that can move the needle in one direction or the other. Just like, who is this person? And what's it look like when we get it in the building? All that stuff could matter. So, like, you can't hold me to this. But with what's lacking the evaluation, if I were still ranking prospects right now, I'd go Wagler over Flemings. I'd go Wagler over Flemings. Just he's bigger.
Yeah.
He was the better college basketball player. I like the idea that he's 6'6", doesn't get sped up, processes things well, shot above 40% from 3. I'm not anti-Flemings. I've told you for a while, there are 7 players in this draft that I think, separate from everybody else. And as long as the Grizzlies end up with one of those 7, I feel pretty good. And Flemings and Wagler are both in that top 7. But I would put Wagler slightly ahead of Flemings. Anyway, Finks got it the other way. And then with the 16th pick in the draft is Jaden Quaintance out of Kentucky, who only played 4 games this season, recovering from a torn ACL. I think blindly, if you told me right now, the Grizzlies could end up with a clean medical sheet Jaden Quaintance and either Kingston Flemings or Keaton Wagler.
Sign me up.
I'm not.
Nah, sign me up.
I'm okay with that. I got bigger dreams, but I'm okay with that.
I've got bigger dreams for sure. But if you could give me that right, say you can either see what your chances are. You can take your chances with what could happen, or you can take that right now. I will take that right now.
I might still take my chances. In fact, I would. Yes, I would still take my chances.
I'm so terrified of getting 8 or 9.
I don't love it either.
I'm terrified.
I would still take my chances, but if we wake up the day after the draft and this is what it looks like, I would not. I'd be fine. But I would still take my chances with the lottery coming up on Sunday, of course. You can read Fink's mock draft. It's available right now, CBSSports.com.
What's on tap for tomorrow?
Well, tomorrow will be Thursday. Look back at Game 2, Sixers, Knicks, Wolves, Spurs. Look ahead, rather, to Game 2, Cavs, Pistons, and Game 2, Thunder, Lakers. Michael Wallace will join me in the first hour. Should be fun. Looking forward to it already. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll try to enjoy mine. We're going to meet back here tomorrow at 10. Till then, be careful, be kind, be good. Rep your hood.